Good morning. Thank you again to Louise and David for organising this event and for you to come along today. I'm Andrew Heath Richardson. I'm 54 years old. I've been in the property and development industry for the last 37 years. Progressed from an apprentice in the electrical industry to a development director today, looking after in excess of £3 billion worth of assets, both in the City of London and at Canary Wharf. My whole career has been based around regeneration. Predominantly my career in the UK and in London, but I do have relevant international experience as well, having worked in France, Germany, Saudi Arabia and Indonesia. And in those countries, negotiating with people in those countries, other foreign companies as well, international companies, multi-billion pound deals over my career. So I think I'm well versed in actually doing international relations as well, which is important in the city, not just the domestic issues, but actually portraying that on any foreign visits or when people come over here to see how the City of London works. I'm standing to represent you, and in order to do that, I need time to do that. I actually went to my boss. I'm an employee of the company. Although I'm a development director, I'm still an employee of the company, and I asked him to vary my employment contract to give me the time to dedicate if I was successfully elected. And I think that's probably one of the most important things that I can give you is my time and that commitment moving forward on there. And I have that now, and my contract of employment is altered to reflect that. And that was also the case when I sat as a magistrate in London. I sat as a magistrate for nearly 3 years, and facing some of the issues that we're all going to pick on today that we see are probably part of the issues that affect you and some of the concerns that you've given us during your feedback on this election campaign. So being based in London, I worked in several major projects here in the city. Bracken House, I don't know if you remember that, the old Financial Times building. I did a renovation of that building. Draper's Gardens, where they're home to BlackRock. And more recently, love it or hate it, the walkie-talkie next door. I was based in Eastcheap for 5 years. And for myself, every single day coming to work, saw the issues of constant roadworks, constant traffic, pollution, rough sleepers, seeing how we could help and interact with these people. And I've taken that a step further. I've actually gone, whilst during this election campaign, I've gone to the City Corporation. I've gone to people. There's a lady called Marianne Frederick. She's the chairman of the subcommittee for rough sleepers. And I said, what action is the city taking about it? It's not just in Eastcheap, it's everywhere, it's prevalent everywhere. How are we helping these people? And she's got this initiative to go forward, which I'd like to support, about getting a day care and assessment centre for rough sleepers. It's all about confidence and bringing that reliance off of the streets for those people there. And a big issue of that is mental health. And actually using some of your research that Accenture did last year, actually said that the less fortunate in society are affected by mental health. 90% of us are affected in some way by mental health issues. 66% personally, and some 85% by people in your family or your close friends. And I think that's very important for using churches, livery halls that aren't used in the daytime to have that for drop-in spaces where people can go. And I'm going to help promote that as well. As a director of the City Property Association and delivering buildings in the city, I know how the city works as well. So I've been on both sides of that, collaborating with the city to set policy, but also knowing the pitfalls and all these disruptive roadworks that you see along the way. So that's how I'd like to help. The feedback from you has been traffic, pollution, and as James mentioned there on security, my idea also is you close the side streets that you don't need during the days. And then you can animate those, have pop-up retail outlets, food markets, and therefore you're removing the traffic, you're removing the security risk of traffic, also you're removing the pollution. So we can counter this in a couple of ways going through from there. So I think my background in charity, being an ambassador for the East End Community Foundation, and a vice president of the Story of Christmas, a real estate appeal for homeless children, helps me come to you and present to you, and I'd like to be your voice in your ward moving forward. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.